Welcome to A-Team Group's Data Management Summit USA Virtual Keynote with Kieran Seaward, Head of Sales at Didactics. Kieran will discuss a data-driven restart. If you would like to ask Kieran a question, please use the comment function next to the session or use the contact details at the end of the presentation. Finally, we'd like to say a big thank you to all our sponsors and partners for their support in making this event possible. Visit the sponsors and prizes page for your chance to win one of the many giveaways at the event. We hope you enjoy Kieran's keynote.
Hello everyone, and thank you for taking the time to join me today. My name is Kieran Seaward and I look after sales at Didactics. For those who are not familiar with the firm, we offer an award-winning data quality and matching platform. It helps financial firms to measure and improve the quality of their information and generate a single view. I'm going to talk today on the topic of a data-driven restart. I have to admit, I really miss the personal interaction that the physical events normally provide. I really enjoy meeting and chatting with different types of people at the A-Team events, not just to hear about the data management challenges they're facing, but also about their background, your pets, or whatever your children are up to. So I'd encourage you to get in touch with me if you'd like to have a chat about data quality issues or anything else. I'm pleased to say that the engagement with the market is still strong despite everything that's going on. And since March, we've conducted hundreds of calls and meetings with clients and prospects to discuss their data management and their business plans. I have to say, I really admire the efforts that you're putting in continuing to strive to improve how your organizations are managing your data. I understand you might say to the title of this session, we've heard all this before, but from my perspective, what I mean is that the next period in our economy can either be really positive because it's powered by a solid platform of high quality, reliable data, or it can be really quite challenging as it's built on the worst of stuff. And the difference between those two is really quite vast. Data is definitely going to power the next phase of the economy, and what the next phase looks like will rely entirely on the decisions and the actions we take now. Probably the biggest unifying comment that there's been is that there's never been a greater need to get your data quality in order. Some firms have grasped this and made a big change. Others, I'm afraid, have found the same old problems that inhibit that change. We've had a lot of time for self-reflection, and now it's time for some action. I plan on lifting the lid on a few client experiences, things that they've found have worked quite well, practices they've learned to avoid, and how data can help power them through that next phase of the economy. So what we're hearing from a data quality perspective is the following. So first up, we're hearing that there's never been a better time than right now to look at data quality foundations. I mean, we've also heard and said the same thing at the time of the 2008 financial crisis, and probably several times before that. But realistically, genuinely, it's the best step to help ensure resilience going into the future. We have had conversations with a number of wealth management, asset management, and some insurance firms this year who, following in the footsteps of investment banks, are now exploring what a data governance and data quality framework should deliver. Thankfully, this is highlighting the absolute necessity to get data quality under control. We've been banging this drum for a long time, but genuinely the long term looks bleak if it's built on the quality of data that many firms have right now. Last year, pre-pandemic, MIT Sloan Management Review commented that poor data costs on average between 15 to 25% of revenue, which is enormous. So the time to plan and act to improve the data quality foundation is now. Second up, redesigning those architectures that just are not delivering. Relating specifically to data quality, there have been a large number of firms who have told us that the waterfall process of tickets into software development or IT to improve data quality just isn't working for them. And they're evaluating data ops processes and tooling. My colleague Stuart Harvey, our CEO, has spoken in depth on this at the European Summit. about having every part of the data management journey at the table on data quality issues. And this is something a client we signed during the lockdown is now putting into place as their data management foundation. We've been encouraged by the number of firms we've spoken to who are keen to start moving away from script-based rules. They're federating that data quality management out of centralized IT and into the business teams so that business users who already know the data and know what good looks like can actually self-serve for high quality, ready to use data in their line of work within their domain. This covers everything from building the rules themselves through interrogating the data in dashboards, right down to making or approving fixes in the data, as I say, within their particular domain. Another question we hear often is where to start. Do we start with data governance first or data quality first? And I recently wrote a blog on this topic as it comes up in almost every client engagement. Of course, you could say I'm biased coming from a data quality first angle. However, I like to use this analogy. Imagine you're a kid and your mum has asked you ever so politely to tidy your bedroom. Your mum returns a couple of hours later and the bedroom is still a mess. Would you get away with saying, yes, mum, but look, I've made an inventory of where everything should be? I imagine the response you'd get would be something along the lines, well done, son, but can you please tidy your room now? So there's a number of building blocks that make up a holistic data management approach, including but not limited to data quality, master data management, business glossary, data dictionary, metadata management, and so on. Using intelligent integration via APIs, it is now possible to build the next generation of data management platform, orchestrated by leveraging best-of-breed technology components from a multitude of very capable vendors there are out there. For example, very recently we made a joint proposal with Solidatus, where Detactics provides data quality and MDM, and Solidatus provides the governance and lineage pieces. To summarize my point here, it doesn't matter which you start with, so long as you make a start. Next thing we're hearing is that start small, think big. And this is very much our mentality at Detactics. If you're looking to bring in new capability or tooling, completing a proof of concept is a low-risk means of proving the efficacy of the software and the associated professional services to implement that. If the scope is well defined and focuses on the specific use case that is causing pain, the quick turnaround of results has the potential of creating real impact, which makes a business case a lot stronger. This is how Detactics engages with the vast majority of our clients, and we have successfully delivered remote proof of value projects during lockdown that are now being rolled into production. Continuing on my previous analogy about tidying your room, this is the equivalent of starting with cleaning your desk or a wardrobe. You can quickly see the value it adds, and all of a sudden, cleaning the rest of your room doesn't seem such a daunting task by breaking it down into sizable chunks. I could go crazy with this analogy and compare the rooms in the house to data domains or divisions within a firm, but I think I should probably leave it there. Next, looking at the long-term view. So we spoke with a prospective client earlier this year who had a regulatory reporting obligation, which is fundamentally a data quality and matching challenge. As with many firms, they need to submit a single customer view report to the PRA for Financial Services Compensation Scheme. Many of you from the retail banking world will be familiar with the difficulties of this particular challenge. Our proposal was not just to replicate their existing process using our intelligent platform, but rather to think of the wider use advantages of a single customer view could bring to the organization as a whole. Instead of a siloed approach to this problem, as per my previous point, think of the longer term view. Unfortunately, in this instance, we were unable to affect the standard mindset, and that particular client proceeded with their standard siloed manual approach. Whilst this might have achieved the short-term goal of passing the regulatory submission for that year, they have not built a process that sets them up well for the following year. They also missed an opportunity to add value to other areas of the business who are suffering from the same fundamental data quality challenge. Next up, something I'm sure is close to many of your hearts is impact equals funding. I will put in brackets most of the time. We had some really good conversations with two of our clients around different ways they'd approached data quality during the worst of lockdown in the UK. One client took the opportunity to fix a long-standing duplicate data problem that all of a sudden they had people available to fix, they had resource. It wasn't necessarily the way that we would do it, and we and they both know that they could have achieved it faster using another component of our platform, but who are we to judge? Whilst it's good that they took the time to seek an impact that matters, this will likely cause them an operational headache again next year when they have to repeat the manual process. A good customer story, certainly from our perspective, is a wealth management client of ours. Right from the off, they realized that they needed to do some rapid pandemic planning and needed to explore all the contact information they held, especially customer emails. Using our platform within 24 hours, they had the rules and the dashboards built to highlight customer information gaps and then track those breaks as they were resolved over time. The interesting thing about this story is that they already had the platform working in production, but this particular use case demonstrated impact to the senior level, the board, and as a result, the project has accelerated and they've actually received additional funding to explore more broader use cases across the firm. Final point then, budgets are shifting and we have to adapt to add value. In a perfect world, you might start at a perfect point, the most logical point, for example, master customer data. But in today's world, you might never get to do that because budgetary constraints or budgets are shifting priorities. So you need to adapt to the best use case that will add the most value to the organization as a whole. It's not survival of the fittest, but the most adaptable to change. You might have to shift the focus of the use case outside your domain to win the case or to win buy-in. A client implementation project at the Tactics just last week looked to be almost dead in the water after a firm-wide budget review. Again, general data quality isn't considered as sexy as some of the other areas of data management and was potentially deprioritized. Luckily for that particular team and for us, major operational data quality has arisen relating to a major revenue generating product that has a short time frame to be fixed. Quick thinking by the client contact prioritized that particular issue as their first use case in the implementation of the production platform. And all of a sudden, budget is readily available again. So in conclusion, we've looked at quite a few client stories here. And I've more to share on this subject from the work our teams have been doing remotely through lockdown in support of our clients. It does feel to me that from all they've told us, there are many firms who are thinking about how to use data to restart their performance in a much changed economic climate. They're now moving beyond this into action across these 7 areas that I've discussed. And it's giving us real confidence about how the future looks when it's built on high quality information. Thank you for taking the time to listen. If you have any questions or comments for me, good or bad, please use the comments box on the page and I'll respond as quickly as possible. Thanks for your time.
Thank you so much for listening, and we hope you enjoyed the session. The Attendee Hub, which is on the event menu on the left of your screen, is available to all delegates so you can network and chat. And don't forget, we have our RegTech Summit virtual coming up in November. Meantime, thank you for joining this event.